Welcome. My name's John Kenyon. I'm the executive director of the Iowa City UNESCO City of Literature organization, and thank you for coming out to Slam-A-Vision 2023. So I wanted to take a brief moment to kind of explain what this is, because it's not quite a normal slam poetry event. So about 5 years ago, one of my colleagues in one of the 41 other cities of literature that are around the world in Melbourne came up with this idea after seeing Eurovision. And he thought we should do something like that internationally for slam poets. And so they came up with Slam-A-Vision. And what this is an opportunity for poets in the 42 cities of literature around the world to participate in local events and then take part in an international event later in the fall. So there are events like this happening in a dozen cities of literature out of those 42 this year. And each one will crown their own Slam-A-Vision winner. Some of them are doing it like this, some of them are doing it with other formats. Videos of those winning performances will be sent off, collated, and then sent back to the participating cities. In our case, then, we will have a judging event that will happen on November 4th as part of the Mic Check Festival, which you'll hear a lot more about later. And we'll judge the 11 other submissions. We can't judge our own. We'll send those scores off to Nottingham, which is another city of literature, and they will have an event that they'll host on December 5th where an international slam poetry champion will be crowned. Now, why Nottingham? Well, it's because for the last 2 years, their poet has won the International Slam-A-Vision title. Next year, I want you to give me more work. I want to host the International Slam-A-Vision Championship in 2024 because one of you not only wins tonight, but wins an international competition. Can we make that happen? All right. Great. So I wanted to quickly thank Iowa City Poetry, who's been a wonderful partner in this event and in the past events. Public Space One for hosting us in this beautiful space. And the team at City Channel 4 back there who are filming this, and it will be broadcast on their channels later. But they're also helping us to edit down the video of the winner that we can submit. So it's a very important process, and we have to do that by Friday. So they're helping us to get in under the gun. And I wanted to let you know about the other cities real quickly that you'll be competing against. So Dublin, Ireland, Exeter, Manchester, and Nottingham in the UK, Kumo, Finland, Ljubljana in Slovenia, Melbourne, Australia, Quebec City in Canada, Reykjavik, Iceland, Tartu, Estonia, and Vilnius in Lithuania. So a lot of international competition there. But now we'll let the least charismatic person in this room stop talking and turn it over to one of the most charismatic people that I have ever met, 2022 Slam-A-Vision champion, Henry Moray.
Let's make some noise for John. Let's go! Woo! All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. It is a pleasure, it is an honor to be here. So my name is Henry Moray. I will be your MC for the evening. As you can see, I got some Breaking Bad merch going on. I wish someone here was named Jesse, but we're gonna keep it rolling. So first, I want to teach you a couple things about a slam poetry event. As an audience, we're not gonna just be here like, just crickets and things like that. We wanna get involved, so let me teach you a few ways. One, can everyone just let's warm up our vocal cords. Can we be like, yeah, oh. Yeah, I like that. So when you're hearing poetry that really resonates with you, make those sounds. Feel free. And also, we had a demo recently, so if you hear something really good, just snap. Yeah, like dang, that's wow. You really said that? Did you really? Yeah, you said that. So you can snap. You can be like, oh, do your thing. You don't want to be too disruptive to the poet and be like, did you just say that? No, but show your support, show your enthusiasm. So first, can we give a round of applause? First, judges, can you put your what are those, whiteboards? I was about to say easels. Yeah, judges. Woo! All right, we have 4 lovely judges this evening. So how the judging will work is that the judges will score a poem out of 10. So like a 1 is like, this is poetry, my ears are bleeding, burn it to the ground, just ashes, no funeral. A 10 is, oh my God, this is creme de la creme, this is divine, this is something I never seen before. So that's a 10, okay? So you can also do like a 0.5, like you can do 9.8, like 4.4, R2D, something, But that's how the judges will be scaling. So a word of advice to my judges. Judges, trust yourself. Trust yourself. You're at the top. You're the Simon Cowells. You're the Howie Mandel. Yeah, Heidi Klums. You're AGT. You are the talent. Okay. Judges, do not be swayed by the audience. Audience, sway the judges. Okay. They don't matter. They don't matter. You know what good poetry is. Judges, don't be swayed. Okay. All right. So we're going to start this off by getting you calibrated, and you're going to use those tools, techniques we just went over. And so I would love to introduce our sacrificial poet, Candy Rapper. Woo!
This poem is called Bear in Mind. The temperatures are rising, the sea ice melting too. Step up to save the planet and do what you can do. From polar bears to wolves and snares, they do not have a choice. An easy thing for us to do is rise up and use our voice. If each and every one of us begins to bear in mind that all we have to do is take good care and be more kind. My name is Candy Rapper, and I'm here to say that when people throw trash down, it doesn't go away. It ends up in the streets and in the ravines, from the rivers to the oceans, causing mutant genes. This beautiful planet is quite fantastic, except for all our awful trash and plastic. We must all make changes before it's too late. Reduce, reuse, recycle, and create if you want to be a winner of the human race. Be kind, do good, and leave no trace. The temperatures are rising, the sea ice melting too. Step up to save the planet and do what you can do.
All right. So an interesting thing that I'm going to let you know is after the poets perform, me as the MC, I got to be unbiased. So I might be talking about some random stuff that has nothing to do with the poem. That's because I'm not trying to influence anybody. But judges, I want you to pull up your easels, your whiteboards, and show me what your rating is. So that's something to know. After the poem has been performed, the judges will write down a score, 1 through 10, and then you'll show that thing to me, and I'll go from lowest to highest. So judges, let that simmer in. I'll give you some time. So this is where I have awkward small talk. So I got a cookbook. It's called The Joys of Cooking. I have not used it yet, but I'm trying to make something real spicy, real good. Hey, judges, help me out here. You're getting too caught up. Oh, okay. We got a 5. We got an 8. We got a 9.5, and we got a 5.2. Let's give it up for Candy Rapper. Yeah, so now you see how we're going to do this. So how I'll do that next round is I'll go from lowest to highest, and I'll wait till all the judges got their things up. But first, our first poet, Kayla.
Counting on memory. 1. I sit at Granny's table. The table where everyone took their turn to sit and speak, swear and pray, laugh and learn. There, I teach Granny how to read. Granny never passed the 8th grade. I'm in 5th grade showing her my books. And she doesn't know that in the future, I'll dive deep into books, waller in words, and appreciate alliteration, because in this moment, the thick, slick page is pinned down by my pointer finger as we both try to sound out this word. She could say it. I couldn't. I knew what it meant. She didn't. 2. When I was too young to understand what a stroke was, Granny had one. I still don't know what a stroke is, but I know that it erases people. I burst through the front door of Granny's house, run up to her, and give her a big hug. She squeezes me the way only grandmas can squeeze you. And then she holds me at an arm's distance and asks, "How are you, sugar?" And in that moment, in the space between words that says more than silence, I knew that she had forgotten me. I never heard her say my name again. 3. At her funeral, I don't know how to feel. She had left me years ago, lost me in her mind, and I wonder if she had forgotten other names, more important names. I don't know. But when I sat there with the thick, slick program between my fingers, I looked at her name written across the page. May Rainey. I could say it. I knew what it meant. Now that's a beautiful name. Now that I could never forget.
Next, we've got Kelsey.
Healing can look like tears sizzling in an egg pan as touch-starved loneliness seasons my breakfast. Then, resisting harmful habits by writing between bites. It can look like sobbing naked in the bathroom mirror, then collapsing on the shower floor, then thinking to myself, at least I'm showering today. It can look like scraping at my nail polish instead of my forearms, then bruising my kneecaps from crying my fears onto the living room floor, then picking up my pen between breaths. Healing can look like laying in bed for 13 hours, clean and lonely, not wanting to tell anyone because I am supposed to be okay. Then, texting my best friend anyway. She has seen all parts of me and loves me whole. It looks like letting her love me through this. Then, scrolling my camera roll, remembering people love me even if they haven't reached out in weeks. Healing can be painful when in private when all of my triggers converge, giving me another night of 8 p.m. bedtime followed by 1 a.m. breakdown until my eyes finally give out and I sleep for a little while. It can look like getting rid of old prescriptions because the thought crossed my mind one too many times. Then facing this poem because my people deserve to know. However, healing can also look like the decade-old lily plant from Mama's funeral finally flowering under my care. Then finding fresh recipes for fun and my body embracing new flavors. It can look like my usual table at my usual coffee shop, writing my thoughts as the fresh grounds cool enough to sip. Then building consistency and calm for myself while holding my heart in a notebook. Healing can look like my left shoulder showing more color than my right because I've been driving my way through a summer of loving myself and the driver's seat usually gets more of the sunlight. It can look like letting my legs feel vitamin D for the first time in years while listening to jazz in the Sunset Park. Then remembering how I feel myself in the music. It can look like hoping one day I will be the older lady who can't stay seated while everyone else is because the sway can't stay in one place. Healing is planning a celebration for my 3rd decade, the one I never thought I'd see and am now eager to ring in. Then, recognizing all of these thoughts mean I finally want to grow old.
Next to the stage, Isabella.
I sit. I found myself sitting more, laying more, praying that my eyes will close. I sit. In a class I find too easy, I'm tired of pleasing my academic persona. I have known her for far too long. I sit and study because chaos and perfection have become my buddies. They whisper, you can do more. So I tell myself it's a goal, a hole I have dug myself, strung up by the threads of a 4.0. You see, Miss Anxiety is getting the best of me, my grades are getting the rest of me, so I sit. I try to forget how I got here, so I can tear away from past notions, the potions and goos I have concocted, yet getting less than an A is still shocking. But I sit and try to lull the voices that tell me to make the right choices, to be alone in my room where I sit. So that maybe my mind will stop running to glue myself to this chair just to compare myself to others. I sit, trying to take time for myself, but I always could be doing something else. I sit at my desk, crying at the paper because I don't know the answer. I could be doing so much better. I sit, and I sit, and I sit, and I sit. Do my grades define me? Am I nothing without my anxiety? I think I need to stand. So I do.
Next to the stage, Yibsira.
Those who mourn know tomorrow. They've been there before. They've seen lights and laughter at the end of the tunnel, but tonight, hope is the blurriest foreshadow. Tonight, there will be raindrops. There will be raindrops raining teardrops, and there will be a stranded moonlight holding back the sunrise, and the stars will dim their lights. So don't you dare say that time will heal all wounds. If I'm ever in pain, please close all my curtains. Play me my saddest songs. Buy me an ice cream bucket and tell me nothing of better days to come. Let me lay on my floor and let me mourn. Let me walk barefoot and let me walk alone. Let me sleep on my sofa and let me sleep till I can't anymore. Let my hair stay covered and let me stay in my blankets. If I cry in secret, pretend you didn't see it. If I cry in public, please offer me a hug. If I pretend to be okay, please pretend to believe me. If I am silent, let me dwell in my silence. Let me feast away my pain. Let me eat or let me not. But please, let me.
Give it up for Joe!
Time is the name of the horse I ride on a starry, moonless night through a landscape I cannot see. A breeze carries the ruffle of prairie grasses and the chuckle of a creek over stones. The horizon is an obscure line where night dark hills meet a rim of starlit sky. Overhead sprawls the immense dome of stars, each a memory of mine, burning with ferocious heat. Some glow bright and feel large. Others, far removed, are dim. Some bring joy, others regret. Of some I've repented, of others I'll never be absolved. Ahead, in the direction the trail leads, a single star stands motionless, central to the slow eddy of all the others, the countless others. A star that never varies in brightness or height above the horizon. No matter how far we ride each night toward it, the distance never closes. We're getting too old for this, Time and I. An hour's to ride from the ranch each night is plenty. A long day is behind us. We eventually feel the need to turn back, to rest up for the next day. Time on a bed of straw in a quiet stall. Me on a straw-ticked mattress in a bunkhouse of snoring ranch hands. Then tomorrow will come, a day that'll stretch long, cycling slowly back to night, when Time and I will set out once more to follow our singular linear trail. For years I felt age coming on, first in the stiffening of my joints and cartilage, more recently as a creeping fog in my brain. I'm thankful to have discovered that the stars retain the memories I'm losing. Time's aging too. He's slower, less sure-footed. Age clouds his eyes, probably his brain too. On our night rides, he pays little attention to the sky. Maybe it's the night breeze that bears him his memories, the scents, the sounds, the sights, the thoughts from a well-lived life that, like mine, has stretched long. Of late, that one motionless star's pull has become inexorable, drawing us farther north each night. The farther we ride, the nearer it seems to approach, the brighter it seems to shine, the stronger and swifter the swirl of stars around its central point. We're growing reluctant to turn back. We've had our fill of the repetitive, cyclic plod of our days. Comes a night, Time does not turn back. I urge him forward with a press of my knees and a soft clucking noise. His pace quickens. I stand in the stirrups, straining to make out the singular memory that last star holds. Perhaps it's reserved for the moment of my death. Perhaps it retains the blind, unrecollected instant of my birth, or perhaps of the one that comes next. I lower myself to the saddle. I slap the reins on Time's neck, nudge his flanks with my heels. He breaks into a canter. The pulsar descends to accept us. Beyond it, I see revealed a second universe of stars. They call to me, eager to receive the memories. I will call on them to hold. Time gallops, breathing deep the freshening wind.
Give it up for
This poem is titled Goodbye. They say I'm one of the lucky ones. I say I'm one of the lucky ones. I got to say goodbye to my grandfather the day that he died. I got to say goodbye. He got to watch me. He got to watch them. My grandfather could not talk the day that he died. My grandfather could only watch the day that he died. My grandfather got to listen quietly as I told him I was sorry, that I would miss him, that it was okay he wouldn't walk me down the aisle. I got to watch him hear me. He got to hear me. I got to watch him try to respond and watch his vocal cords fail. My grandfather could not talk. My grandfather could only watch. I could hardly watch. I could only really talk. I got to say goodbye to my grandfather, say what I needed to say to him. He never got that privilege. Trapped a ghost in a dying body, he got to see his farewells from a hospital bed, rolled into the same living room that once hosted Christmas. He got to watch a funeral procession of kids and grandkids and his wife try to ease their upcoming grief. He got to realize that he was dying. He got to realize that he'd be gone. He got to realize that he'd miss my wedding. He got to realize he'd miss a lot of weddings. We got to say goodbye. We are some of the lucky ones. He died surrounded by family, unable to communicate, surrounded with grief and love. He died after I left for the night, hopeful. He got scared when we were gone, so afraid of missing us, of missing more, but he died as one of the lucky ones, surrounded by family at an old age, a supposed morbid death ideal. He got to watch our goodbye. We never got his. He never got his.
Next to the stage, give it up for Siri.
Dream on, goes the Aerosmith rock song, 'cause life's a song, yeah. Let me tell you about mine before it all went wrong. Straight A student, student of the month, student of the year. This happy girl don't shed a tear. Yearly award for smiling and being a friend. I don't have to pretend. I won them all. Taught myself to play oboe and beat out first chair. No one in the orchestra made All-State except, to be fair. Offered the maximum scholarship to tour Asia that year. Went to Panama, Nicaragua, Costa Rica too. Started teaching at 18, no fear. Oh, and I'm bilingual too, or not far. No dudan que unas gringas de Iowa también pueden hablar. President of the Honor Society I was. Played piano in front of thousands. Backwards, just 'cause life was a song. Dream on, dream on. But then it stopped and the rhyme ended. Bipolar. Idiopathic hypersomnia, or IH. It's similar to narcolepsy. The list is much longer, but I'll save you some time. I sleep 16 hours in a 24-hour period. High school breakup, bawled my eyes out nightly for over 2 years. Hospitalized for suicidal ideation 5 times. They don't recognize me as disabled, yet I've had over 20 jobs in under 20 years. Got engaged to a prisoner, married through a glass window. It didn't work out. Divorce. His lawyer and 2 of your teachers want to fuck you, so fuck you to them. And I'm going on a manic shopping spree at 2 a.m. because, or someone's breaking in. 911, someone broke into the apartment, or it's just a nightmare. Sometimes things don't rhyme, and you can't just dream on. But then along comes a song, waking you up with joy. A rare job where I'm allowed to sleep, yeah, me they employed. Life regains its rhyme, and things do get better with time. I married the love of my life. We live, laugh, love, go with the flow. It's a big improvement from the prison window. I'm once again happy. I might not have all the big fancy words, but I know that some bad is here to stay. It's just that I've learned to dream my dreams and push my fears a little further away. Like public speaking, I tell, is my story. I'm nervous as hell, but I tell you to tell this to your nightmares as well. That life is a song, you make it. So sing, dance, or twirl a baton, but rock it. Rock and roll it. Dream on, dream on.
Give it up for Emily.
Coming to terms with the reality that I'm not as deserving as others make me out to be, but maybe a little bit more than I give myself credit for. I've got closet skeletons. Under my bed, there are more. Crouching, I hear their giggles from my kitchen cupboards and drawers. They play hide and seek all throughout my house. For now, I sit back and let them bum around. For the comfort of others, I've lied and made excuses, tucked away all my feelings and distracted them with bruises. I've willed my mind and body to do things they did not want, shouldered the burdensome guilt of things that were not my fault. What I perceived as childish was just normal human nature. Yet, I villainized my person and then never forgave her. In the face of trepidation, my whispered anthem became verses of invalidation and choruses of self-blame. Toiled to conceal and omit parts of me that weren't enough. I knew no self-compassion when I didn't measure up. Compromised my boundaries to do as I had been told by those whom I thought reliable, but only wanted control. Letting them force me into these molds of stifling expectations is not worth the price of putting my soul under sedation. Instead, watch as I learn to nurture the delicate parts of my mind without putting my authentic self into some elaborate disguise. Hereafter, I will not shield my flaws from being seen, for a work in progress is a beautiful thing to be. Still getting to know this girl, I kept hush for all those years, letting her roam free despite the reckoning I once feared. Days and nights I told myself the love I felt wasn't true. Don't say it's not a big deal if it means something to you. For the comfort of others, I've lied and made excuses. Now I'm done being quiet about all my scars and bruises. This transparent heart, though pitiful and broken, tastes so much better than any lie I've ever spoken.
Next to the stage, give it up for Marnie!
ABC Darien, does anything transcend race? Ancestors must have been fighting underground last night. Brown dirt cackling as graves rumbled, cracks in concrete separating below buckling skyscrapers just the same. Dangerous afterbirth blues, enabler. That's what his sister said. Woe is me, our families like serpents whispering in weeping ears, grudges of my hog-herding racist grandfather, your mother's wanting for you, black love. Holding it down gives me PTSD and power all the same. Impatience like a splinter in the skin, anxiety always getting me dawn all the way till January. Late. Hand raised like a testimony to Bible, except God probably gave up on us too. Kind neighbors, doors double and triple locked shut, like the boy who cried woof, hair raised on back, mania foaming at her pain, mane snatched up and swung cold linoleum. Nails dug 3 stripes deep, crying, arms stinging, unsolicited evidence. Outrage, a curdling unconsciousness, his pupils a sandstorm in a faraway war. Quiet, please. The baby is sleeping. Don't want her to hear this in her dreams. Rumbling race riots, wrestling rug burn, restrained into the rubble, reason unknown, scattered schizophrenia like ashes of the mind. This is what they did to Eric Garner. Tunnel vision and tainted spirit ears, how underneath the aggression lives a pained little boy plugging his ears from the voices that scream blood, jump bridges, burn, wishes of a nuclear family now dissolving at the fingertips of exhaustion, turned exile to the state. From our home, elders secretly spoke ill will upon. You want to be black so bad, now you know what it feels like. Baby, a yellow bone beauty bawling. Zing, in the sirens outside her window is I, her mother, gasping for air.
All right, I'm going to list the names of those who will be moving on to the next round. Before I do, let's give one more big round of applause to our poets. All right. Is this in what? This is not in order. No. Okay. All right. So we've got Marnie, we've got Emily, we've got Siri, we've got Emmy, we've got Isabella, Kelsey, and Caleb. Give it up to the poets. Okay. All right, we are going to resume, and we're going to start in reverse order of who went last. We'll go first. So, next to the stage is Marnie.
Self-portrait as the wilted flower at the dinner table. There is a single wilted flower in the bouquet at our dinner table. Vase, a thick flared crystal, unpolished. Foggy water, a tinge green, its pale petals hanging like a weeping willow, leaning, hunched back, only stem with bad posture in the bunch. What a shame, 'cause she's the tallest, curtailing herself to connect with the eyes of her friends, the wine glasses filled with body, deep merlots and wooing at the hips, hold the silver pole like picking up the butter knife jostling back and forth with each train stop, the brakes screeching, haunted, thousands of patrons per day, all of different destinations, peony budding, peering silently between each fold, mimicking, eyes memorizing the way each face became a camouflage of answers. The dark oculus counting the badly painted steel pillars holding up the underground at each stop. The air is thick and elbows sit heavy on the edge of the table. I don't know how to hold myself upright. In these stiff antique chairs with their mahogany finish, something my parents swooned after, traveled upstate and paid a pretty penny, lugged home in the back seat of their white Oldsmobile with its velvet maroon seats, called it a steal at that price. I do not like old things. A centerpiece of bad decisions disguised as floral, something pretty to look at, stealth-like, close my ears and the jargon I could have used in my repertoire became garble. A lot of name dropping I only knew the faces for, and rumbling laughter at the end of each one of my father's jokes. Head tilted so far into my plate, the potatoes and gravy a mask of decrepit traditions that need unpacking. Can't quite keep up, a hardened leaf falling into the murky vase, wandering in its tap water. This is not how I talk on the way home from school, where we dance merengue together, a black trash bag over the torso of my best friend to protect his outfit and backpack from the sudden rain. Those orange shoelaces I left in the ziplock of my Nike shoebox, or the extra pair I picked up from VIM to tie like a bow around the gathering of my ponytail. At the dinner table, my hair is worn down, flat, straight as ever, and needing a trim at the ends, dying a little at each coarse brush I pass through it.
Next to the stage, give it up for Emily.
If karma were a deity, I think it has possessed me. Either an angel or ghost has taken me as host. For I am so enraged and at once filled with grief. I could snap my own bones and only feel relief. Suppose I strike a match, ignite your wretched skin, gaze on as flames gallop and envelop you in. A monster who thought he could have it all may climb piercing towers only until he falls. I get it now, the appeal of vengeance. This hunger for inflicting pain like a brand new hormone and invasive species in my veins. Your actions go far beyond reparations and apologies. This cosmic imbalance will not be fixed by legal policies. Your abuse and manipulation demolishes both body and soul. Those in your wake have faced trauma that exceeds cruel and unusual. Clouds of casualties, now raised up to become perpetrators of a new generation of victims. That is, until I intercede, a vessel used by divine being. Judgment will be dealt swiftly, but you'll feel it for eternity. Your atonement, O beast, is what we shall bring. This higher power has commanded me. Jail? No, jail will not suffice, given the torment you've earned. For your deeds of sinister vice, slowly you will be burned. Demon, your suffering tastes to me like morphine. Upon my tongue, a sweet burst as I unleash your curse. Here is where I finish my sanctioned mission. Your power is dispelled. My thirst has been quelled. As a warning for others, may this execution serve. Don't you dare begin to think you won't get what you deserve.
Next to the stage, give it up for Siri.
Perhaps it's worse than losing the game of life, worse than a loss by death. You may have guessed it, a breakup. No, don't roll your eyes. Don't look the other way. It's not the same for everyone. I have a mental illness called borderline personality disorder, or BPD. It's my bitter to the tongue taste of nervous, anxious attachment. I need greater than water to live, to not be abandoned. I know he will lose at this game of life. We were all always trying so hard to win, but this was not like death. No, sir, for he chose to leave. A breakup. I would have killed to have him back. No, don't roll your eyes. Don't wait for the next slam poetry to start. I'm about to pour out my heart. I run 2 miles to his house. I am not a runner. I am not a walker. I am a cuddle in bed-er, and I just need a hug. I'm sorry for the fight, I say. I'm sorry too. Oh, okay, but he's not done. I mean, I'm sorry, as in, I'm sorry this isn't working. No! Please! I scream through hot tears. I collapse to the floor. I thought you loved me. I thought so too. No, you gotta understand. I know it sounds cheesy, but you gotta listen to this heart of mine. Every beat, beating me up inside. I cried. Not one day of the 365, not one single lonely night did I not cry. 2 years went by. I hear the new girl's name and I roll down the car window to vomit. 10 years later, I still had the love letters, the abandoned trinkets of time gone, the paraphernalia of time lost. I had lost that game of love, but I wanted to win at some game between him and I, but only I was playing. Then I saw a therapist. If you've never gone, maybe you should. The therapist says, "You've already won," and puts a gold medal around my neck. I have learned to love and be loved and so much more. So now you may roll your eyes. You may roll up your sleeves and get angry about participation trophies or medals, but I no longer care what you or they or even he thinks of me. For I will not enter the arena of a schema of such a game as the delusional wrestle with the ghost of love past, for I already won.
Next to the stage, we've got Emmy.
I hope the well of my enthusiasm remains everlasting and my capacity to handle grief only grows. But I know time and age hold hands, grasping fingers intertwined so tightly they can only be lovers. I know time and age have a hold on me too, fingers clawed into my collar, bruising my shoulders, their arms becoming bridges, corded muscle holding me in place, rubber flesh surrounding copper spirit, electrifying me with life. I hope I get to grow into my grandmother's face. I hope time and age keep hold forever in this act of violence that has somehow become a great gift, the greatest gift. I hope my body seizes and strains with effort, and I arc and flail so strongly, the only choice I have is to smile. To grin and to bear it and to love it, this life I have been blessed with. I hope I live it fully and experience it for what it is, pain and pleasure and simplicity, multiplied and layered into complexity. I hope I hurt again. I hope I love again.
Next to the stage, give it up for Isabella!
Yes, I have been drinking, and possibly overthinking, but nonetheless feeling this feeling. Kneeling at your schedule. I understand that this is our priority, but I was never one to sit in the back seat. I'm feeling the pressure. I cannot tell if I can't handle the change or the change is manhandling me. I am fighting with my own being to not cry at end of conversations. This sensation is hot to trot right out of the gate and has me choking on what true love is, and is this our reality? Give me a morsel of this attention. The one from yesterday, the stale kind that somehow tastes so sweet, but I know is molding. Am I just molding to fit into your time frame, to hold on to these past notions? The commotion seems to be when we're actually talking. Sometimes I don't know what you're thinking, being on the other end of the line, just hoping for you to say something. But when I ask you, you say there is nothing to be said. I know we love each other, but the more I say it, has me ponder, wandering over to the what-ifs. All I've been seeing is a future with you, but do I even have a clue of what that looks like? I have these fantasies, but is it all just to keep the magic alive? I don't want to discredit all the work, the therapy, the chats, and everything in between, but it just seems like you don't want to talk anymore. I try to lock up the phrase, "Are you okay?" but it sneaks its way through passageways of uncertainty, escapes my lips all too frequently. I want us to be okay. But we are. My brain does this funny thing. It tricks itself that there's a problem we need to solve, makes a plan to action with perfect follow-through, but two things are never accounted for. That you have a life and things change. So I sit with this strange feeling that our relationship is crumbling when there's not even a crack. I want you to understand I love you very much. I want to touch your face. I miss you. Before you were doing all the chasing, calling me up just to check in, but now you are the one being chased. It's never a good time to call, and the work never ends. I want to understand you. Try to be the cheerleader on the sidelines, but I want some of your time too. As I walk on the cracked pavement, alone and cold, I want to hear your warm voice. The excitement to say my name on the screen, to ask about the day of your lover, that's what I want, and vice versa. Awoken from a soundly sleeping place I did not know you were in, I am sorry for wanting your attention and love, but I guess it's all about timing. It's a Saturday evening. I understand you have all this on your plate, but lately you don't seem to be hungry enough for dessert. I texted you 3 words. And with no reply in 10 minutes, I thought you had given up to anger and frustration. But you set it back.
Next to the stage, let's welcome Kelsey.
The setting. I'm 28 at my favorite coffee house with my poetry family reading a Humans of New York Facebook post. I'm triggered. I can still feel the edge of tables cracking against skin, hands branding me property. I thought brothers were supposed to protect sisters. But my bones still vibrate in waves of crickets and bathtubs trying to etch-a-sketch muscle memory that still holds on to our mother's stale basement couch never fit for a child's bed. Yet you seemed to enjoy her corrupt walls and disowned me for not converting to her addictions. I try to dissolve back to the coffee house, not her house, the coffee house, not her house, but chairs scrape the shop floor, my neck flinches to the side as my eyes burn with the end of your cigarettes as your vodka removes my eyeliner. She spent every other court-mandated weekend proving herself party parent, and you fed into her bottles. Wrapped your callous fingers around my throat, deemed me unworthy of being sibling, and stopped saying goodbye each time I left. I try to dissolve back to the coffee house, not her house, the coffee house, not her house, but wind slams the shop doors and my shoulders tighten upright as the blood in my arms ignite with the end of your lighter as a hand touches mine and my eyes tighten around a freeze response. I try to dissolve back to the coffee house, not her house, the coffee house, not her house. I hear blender, not bellow, laughter, not scream. The hand softens, and I dissolve to chosen family, bringing me back to our coffee house.
Next to the stage, give it up for Kayla.
Wendy, the good little witch, and Casper, the friendly ghost. Wendy loves the idea of empty, loves surrendering to space, looks in the mirror and tries to look through, sucks in her tummy and attempt to be transparent, hugs the toilet to rid herself of all of this. Matter of fact, she sees Casper as a champion, both there and gone, invisible and felt. I keep falling in love with Wendy. A woman with all this magic inside of her. She feels big to me. Big like the sun, casting out shadows in the summertime. Big like a library, full of stories that conjure up compassion. Big like the dinner table, there's always room for one more. I want her to take up the space next to me. But Casper keeps getting in the way. He has got her chasing after him, focusing more on the word little than good, or maybe she slipped into a spell and made them synonyms. It's got her disappearing before my eyes. And I don't know how to love a ghost. Don't know how to convince her that all her magic isn't a mistake, that she's made full of fantasy. I couldn't dream bigger. I see her. I love her. It is the only kind of magic that I can make. And somewhere she lost that spell for herself. And I try to share mine, but Casper was here first, and the dead don't love the living, but misery loves company. So when I see her, she is my favorite thing to see. And I hope when she looks into my eyes, she sees that she is alive and beautiful.
moving on to our final round, we've got Caleb, Kelsey, Emily, and Marnie. Give it up for all our poets! All right, so now we're reversing the order, so who went last will go first. First to the stage, give it up for Caleb!
To the people who said I should be happy that I have new material after the murder of George Floyd. This poem was a violent protest. A raging riot set fire to your precincts, your clan, sanctuary, steal every bit of life from Target so that our deaths will be decked out in the decor of what's always been on our backs. Because didn't we always own Target? Weren't we always fresh to death? Isn't that an oxymoron? Like being black in America? Like this poem? Like expecting peace from people who benefit from your death? I will not play peace as you play war. So this poem will press its knee down on your bigotry till it cannot breathe. Watch the ignorance fade from your eyes as you call out for your mama because I refuse to write another obituary. I have run out of words for grief. There is only room for anger now. It is the only thing that stops the crying. The only thing holding me upright when the world wants me face down on the ground. I'd rather die than live that way. So if I must die, let me die fighting.
Next to the stage, let's welcome Kelsey!
She's been told that loving her is like loving a puppy. You cannot leave her alone for too long or she'll start to think that you don't want her anymore when all she ever did was bring you your blanket when you were sick, your keys when you dropped them on the floor, your shoes when you just didn't want to get off the couch yet, when all she ever did was have just the best day every time you two drove somewhere together or went for walks around the park. She's been told she feels things deeply. In fact, she's been told she loves in ways a man won't realize he needs until weeks, months, years after he's already asked her to leave, until the salt has dried off of the heart she wears on her arm and transports to his unused pillow that probably still has her hair on it, to the towel that no longer hangs next to his, the laundry that isn't folded when he gets home, and the counter full of cereal bowls because cooking for one is too damn hard. Because he didn't realize being one was not what he needed. And because he doesn't realize that it took her a whole day to be able to speak again, 2, to listen to music, 3, to get out of bed and shower, 4, for that music to have lyrics, 5, for her to get out of the apartment, 6, for her to put makeup on again because maybe it had a chance of staying on, 7, for her to paste her work smile on again. Because he doesn't realize he used the exact phrasing as the others. That yet another man is unable to follow through with his promise to be the one who grows a life alongside the battered heart he never intended to soothe. To be sure, the only thing she questioned was what they'd have for dinner. To be the one who willingly saves her from the never-ending story that is her thoughts, but she keeps finding men who love until it all becomes too real. Men who don't realize that loving her is a full-time commitment. Because loving her means loving a woman who stays loyal long after the end. And because loving her means loving a woman who has seen what it means to not love hard enough. She's been told she feels things deeply. Maybe that's true. Because she was born to love deeply. You see, she was born with the inability to grow the wall that everybody else seems to have. She lets people in to give them a chance to fight for her. She lets them in. She gives them a chance to fight for her because one of them is bound to recognize that she's been through some shit that makes her attached too quickly. And because no matter how many times her clumsy heart is destroyed, it comes back full force. Possibly more naive, but this one will stay, right?
Next to the stage, give it up for Emily!
Sudden dissociation. riddled me to my core, as the rug yanked from beneath sent me tumbling to the floor. Had it not, I'd be there still. Blinders up, under your spell, without even noticing that it was a kind of hell. Please don't condemn me for being young and naive. Predator disguised as gentleman, how could I have known to leave? Fiery, billowing red flags once appeared to be routine. A narcissist's masquerade, should I have understood at 19? What began as tepid water turned slowly to a boil, restricting my heart and spirit, feet rooted to the soil. Part of me gave up that day. You wouldn't believe how much I cried, conjuring my new fate, then realizing I lost my mind. So I took my chances by calling it quits. Making a mistake, I was damn sure of it. Leaping from the scalding pot with burns painting my skin, uncertain if I was escaping or setting foot in a different prison. Keep on trying to smooth out the creases in my psyche, extract via bloodletting the toxic things you taught me. Anxiously, stripping away what I once held to be true, unsure what lies underneath this shedding long overdue. Still wonder how life would look had you never come into it. Dreams I mustn't dwell on or else drown in the what-ifs. So I hang a new skeleton between my sweaters and skirts, making more room to process yet another type of hurt. In a world full of spiders, so sly, I was warned to not be the fly. Silly and blind, made fool by the bad guy, soaring into webs by and by. But who told us we needn't become beasts of prey dealing damage and to look out for the vulnerable instead of taking advantage? You led me to believe that my desires were wicked. But baby, I've come back to reclaim the pleasures I had hidden. Once upon a time, it was you to whom I'd solely surrender. Now, only on my own terms do I seek out joy and rapture.
Let's welcome to the stage, Marnie!
Like a gunshot fired in an instant. Before the sobs begin, you hear silence. The twitch, sudden blink, like origami, outline of body, stencil paper thin, flutter all again. What shows up first? The sirens or the news reporters? How long that helicopter been flying overhead? How many millions it cost to fuel its air, yet an identity we tear? Watch us pluck petals off the caterpillar's back. Watch from way up there, no caskets, but we buy air. Space jams, always traffic, man, and at worst, I had my peanut butter jelly in hand before school at 9 a.m. Fit the description of what? Your fear, your racism. Do I look like a boogeyman? I'm just a boy playing ball with a few of my friends. Please put down your gun. We don't want to die should not be the words of a 12-year-old to a grown man. Uniform starched blue, tight white jaw, spit racial slurs, no holster. How many brown bodies do you gag at gunpoint, lie in court? How many hooded black men haunt your dreams at night? 18 years young, just trying to make his way home. Now he's stuck in the barrel of your Glock. And now the butterflies, they die young. Limbs limp, wings breathless, still aching for their mama's last kiss.
Joe, it's a tough job. It's a tough job. Some of y'all like, I don't think I'm ready for this. I was like, I think you're ready for this. We ain't never gonna stop loving you, judges. I've never heard that, but this is a good day for that. This is a great day for that. All right. And I also want to give a huge round of applause to the poets. You guys are brave. You guys are poetic. You guys are amazing. So I want to emphasize that coming up here is not easy. So for poets, I remember when I was performing last year, I was shaking before each round. I was like, I was like to my person next to me, I was like, I don't know if we're in the right spot. I don't think we're supposed to be here. So it is amazing. It takes a lot of courage, but through the fear, you push and you push out some beautiful poetry. So let's give a round of applause to all our poets. All right. We're going to start with third place. Coming in third, let's give a round of applause to Kelsey. Coming in second, let's give a round of applause to Marnie. And coming in first, introducing the newest UNESCO Cities of Literature Slam-O-Vision, Iowa City Slam-O-Vision champion. Let's give a round of applause to Caleb Rainey. Woo! Congratulations. And I want to leave it up to you if you want to say any words.
Thank you.
Thank you, and let's give a huge round of applause to our amazing, lovely audience. Woo!